Otterly Curious is made possible in part by a grant between the HSI Equity Hub at CSU Northridge and Apple aimed to catalyze HSI programming throughout the CSU system, statewide and nationally. Welcome to episode 4 of Otterly Curious. It is just me, Angelica, today as your host. I am here with Achsah Jojo, who is currently an innovation scholar, so I'm excited to hear from another current innovation scholar doing research. We are going to talk about her research in AI auto-completion tools. And as you guys know, AI is a very big thing in school and even in workspaces, so I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about AI. Okay, welcome Achsah. We are so excited to have you today. Let's talk about your 6-word mission statement.
So my 6-word mission statement was AI auto-completion, you're debugging Frenemy. But back in the day, we would have to write every single line of code bit by bit, which would take a long time. And once I got into college and I think sophomore year, that's when I started getting to know more about AI and AI auto-completion tools, which start to give you suggestions on what to write next as you're typing. And so I thought it was going to be my best friend in coding, it'll help you as you're coding, so you wouldn't have to Google for every single thing or figure out how to do the next project or how to do an outline or anything, because it helps you as you're typing. But eventually I came across some challenges, so it was kind of acting like my friend but also my enemy at the same time. And the frenemy thing kind of stems from modern day classic Mean Girls and stuff like that, those movies. So I was I think it was a fun twist to add. So it kind of really encapsulates what I really want to say about AI and my research, which was that it can be your friend and also your enemy at the same time.
Yeah, Mean Girls. I was frenemy. I definitely know that word, and especially in that Disney movie, Frenemies. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah, that's very creative. I really like that. What is your main question or problem you're addressing in your research?
So the main idea is we have students who are just beginning their programming journey, and they're going to be exposed to AI right from the bat, because unlike a couple years ago, when AI wasn't a thing, students will learn how to do things manually and wouldn't really have to rely on AI to just create the code for them. So the goal behind this research is to really understand how AI has affected, AI auto-completion tools has affected the ways web developers debug. Because when I was doing my research, I really noticed that sometimes debugging with AI-generated code took a lot longer than if I were to just manually code it bit by bit. And so understanding how students and web developers specifically debug that, and how long it takes them, and where exactly they go wrong, and what are some predictable factors that AI generate that we can quantify or qualitatively analyze, so we understand why, if AI is really being a good thing to us, or if it's negatively affecting us. So that's the main idea. The goal is just to figure out how students are utilizing AI. And if we were to figure out if it's a positive or negative effect, we would be creating an educational manual that students can have to look into, to see if these are the common errors that are generated by AI, and this is how we can fix it, or this is how we can address it. So it will be an easy way to reference off of. Yeah, so it's basically aimed towards helping out web developers when they're coding, especially when they're debugging something.
So you're saying your everyday problem is these coders are trying to debug something, and if AI auto-completion is actually helping them, and if it is, great, but if it's not, where is that issue stemming from, and how can we fix it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. This is amazing. I'm glad that I'm grasping this idea. So can you walk me through the steps you take to gather and analyze data, and what is your data set?
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recruiting a couple students. We're going to be kind of avoiding total beginners, because you get a gauge on if they're actually coding errors because of the lack of knowledge, or is it because of AI meddling in with it, right? And avoiding novice programmers, because they often lack the fundamental debugging skills, making it difficult to study their patterns and where they're messing up. So we're going to be recruiting intermediate students who are more likely to like apply deliberate strategies, which we can analyze and generalize. And then we're going to be like give students a prompt, and then the students are going to be coding the prompt, and we're going to be using like an extension that's going to produce errors. So initially we were trying to use a GitHub Copilot to produce those errors like as the student is typing, but we realized that we wouldn't be able to have a controlled environment because most of these AI tools are like made to not make errors, and there are errors that happen here and there, but it's hard to tell exactly when those errors happen. And so I'm going to be creating like an extension, which I'm in the process of doing. When a user types, like it will purposely generate the next code, but this code has errors in it, and that is like in a very controlled manner. Like it's going to give an error. Like I'm going to know that there is going to be an error in their code, and once that user like accepts it and they type in the rest of the code, they'll have to go back into the code they just wrote and figure out where the error really.
Yeah.
This way, we'll actually have a controlled way of figuring out where the error is, how we can replicate the error, and how we can repeat this process. So once they are done writing the code, they'll have to go back into their code and debug that code that they just wrote. And then that's when we will be analyzing how they like debug code, and we will be using research and literature on what we read and how we analyze debugging strategies from previous research. So that's like the kind of setup on how we're going to be doing it.
And are these going to be students from CSUMB, or is it going to be a mix of different college students?
I think we'll start off with students at just CSUMB.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Can you give an example of a setback in your work and what you learned from it?
And it was kind of frustrating at first because I had to read a lot of research papers, and that was a big thing for me because it's just like I guess it was not a setback. It's kind of like learning to take patience and then really to like take one step at a time, because sometimes you just want to jump right into it, but that's not going to really give you the best like results. So sometimes you just got to have to sit down, read through the things, and really get an understanding of what you're doing before you jump into it. Just learning to be patient, learning to take time to understand things, and then getting to like the actual crux of the stuff, like actually coding stuff down or actually like making the plan from head to toe. So I think that was like a setback. It took a long time for me to like go from point A to point B. Taught me like how to like stay focused on my goals and how to like set times per day that I have to work on things. I understand that this isn't just like a one day thing. Like it has to be done over time.
Yeah, that it's sometimes hard to just like sit down and take your time on something, and sometimes you just wish that you had all the knowledge and then do something, but yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time to gain information and understand the research that you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm curious, what prior experiences have you had before this work?
And so before I have done like tutoring, I used to tutor like my sister who's also doing computer science at CCMB, and she's just 1 year younger to me. So a lot of the times I would have to help her through her homework and like help her figure out like where she's going wrong, and like just be the older sister that can always be there for you when your code just breaks in the middle of the night type thing. So that's like one of my experiences. I think that's one of my most relevant experiences when it comes to debugging. Also, just like I used to work as a front-end software engineer for my professor. Like he has his own research website, and he had wanted me and a bunch of my peers to like help him build his website. And so that's where my whole research really just started. Like I would start using GitHub Copilot because I wasn't the most proficient in making websites at that point in time, and I haven't taken the right classes for it, but I still wanted to learn. And I would start using GitHub Copilot to like give me a template on how to get started, and I started getting like a lot of good progress, but at the same time I started getting a lot of bad progress because I would get stuck on small syntax or like small like wordy errors that would like break my entire code, and it would take me days to fix it. And so this kind of like kind of inspired me to be like, okay, I don't want others going through the same kind of days and days of debugging when they could have like a manual or something to like reference off of to see what are the common errors that AI could be generating.
Yeah, so in a way you want this work that you're doing to actually help your sister.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully, like, she can use my work instead of me in the middle of the night.
I know, right? I was just about to say that. You're like, I'm done helping you. Like,
yeah. There's a time and a place, you know? There's a time and a place.
That's funny. Who has put you on this path of computer science?
I would say, like, initially when I started coding, it was back in high school. And back in the day, I really wanted to pursue like, nursing and like being a doctor and everything. But then once I started seriously thinking about going to college, that's when my dad was like, you know, computer science is really taking off. Like, what do you think about it? And so, literally like as I got into high school, my dad like enrolled me in computer science pathway. And honestly, it was going pretty bad. Like, I wasn't really doing good in high school. I didn't really like computer science, especially like Java, which is like a programming language that we all have to learn. It was just bad, to be honest. I was not looking forward to it whatsoever. And then when college came around, like, he was telling me, like, do you really not want to do computer science? Like, I think it's a really good opportunity. I think you should just, you know, try it. Maybe like college will give you a different perspective. Like, I feel like sometimes in education, it's not probably the subject, it's probably the teachers or like the environment that you're stuck in that's probably making you not want to do a certain thing. And I think that was the case with me. Like, I think my environment and the teachers that I had in high school didn't really instill that passion for computer science or that and like interest for computer science. They kind of like pushed a lot of academic rigor and not a lot of like passionate stuff. Like, so I was kind of like deterred from doing computer science at first, but then my dad was the one who kind of pushed me into doing computer science, and the paycheck for all these software engineers were pretty big. So I'm just like, okay, it's not a bad idea if I were to just push through with it, you know. Maybe like all this hard work will pay off into something good. And I ended up pursuing it in college and starting my freshman year with it, and actually I started doing really well. Like, my professors at UCMB and my friends, my peers, the cohort program at UCMB for computer science, they really just motivated me to like pursue it further, and the like inspiration from my dad to like keep doing something just to try it out and see if you like it or not.
I'm glad that the professors at CSUMB kind of inspired you more, and it seemed like they were compassionate.
I also noticed there's not a lot of women in computer science, and I wanted to, like, you know, I guess increase the count of women in computer science. I can definitely see in my classes there'll be like literally like 3 girls and that's it, and there'll be like a class of 20 to 25 guys and there's like 3 girls in there, and it'll be kind of disappointing because you want to see more girls, you want to see more representation. And as the president of the Women in Computer Science Club, I still have yet to see a lot of girls just, you know, passionate about what they're doing, or like really like, you know, do anything related to comp sci. Like, even though like CCUMB has a higher like female demographic, like the amount of women doing computer science though is really low.
Yeah, I'm glad you shedded some light on that topic because it's really important to increase the amount of women in STEM. What do you hope to achieve with your work, both in the short term and long term?
In the short term, I really just want to identify like what strategies really help students debug faster, and where like how can like AI help them in like a way that like, you know, that doesn't also like hinder their critical thinking skills, because sometimes you might be just so used to AI helping you 24/7 that you just stop thinking about why this actually works. Like, you're just pressing the tab keys, accepting every single suggestion they give you, but you're not really taking a second back and like understanding like the reasoning why this is happening. So I think my short-term goals are to just identify those strategies and help those students. And then the long term is like, once I've identified those strategies, I would like to create like an educational manual or like a tool that helps guide students towards, like, you know, with what are the better debugging skills. Like, it's kind of like a book that kind of like tells you like, oh, these are the common errors and this is how you can solve them, especially for web development, you know, so that students like my sister or like anybody that is doing computer science, especially web development, they can have like a reference to how they can, you know, work alongside AI and not against it.
Yeah, this is important stuff, especially with the boom in AI, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because every day, like, there's something new that's going on with AI, and so you're gonna have to learn to work with it and not against it. You can't be ignorant about it. You can't be just ignoring it. You have to be well known about it, even if you're not comp sci. AI is still everywhere. Like, this is where it all stems from. Like, somewhere along the line, AI had to be coded, like it had to be programmed. And so, like, these engineers who are working with these things, they're gonna have to, like, work alongside IDEs or, like, environments where they're gonna have to use it. And so if they don't know how to work well with it, then they're going to be working against it. And working against something that is meant to help you is not going to work out well for you at the end of the day. So it's always better to have, like, a tool that's going to aid you towards success than not have anything at all.
Yeah, and especially working against something that's growing every day. Like, imagine how hard it's going to be when somebody doesn't know how to use it. Yeah. And, it's just always advancing. So it's just going to get harder and harder to learn it. Last question, Achsah, what advice would you give to someone trying to start their own research project?
I think this would be perfect for my sister because she too is trying to start her own research and has no idea where to really go. I would say first thing is to get well acquainted with your professors. If they see you being active in class, if they see you doing well, just go up to them, talk to them, start up a conversation, like, see what they're interested in, see what they're doing, and see if it aligns with what you want to do. Like, if you are interested in AI, talk about it, try to see if they're doing something related to it. And try to also see if your schedule allows it. Like, I think sometimes people have a lot going on and they try to add in research because they just, want to stand out. But at the same time, I think it's something that you might want to do because you're passionate about it. Because if you were to just do it because you want to stand out, you're basically just forcing yourself to do something. Yeah. And so you're not going to be able to make good progress on it. You're never going to really understand or truly, like, feel exactly if you're making an impact or not. So I would say really, like, get started with, getting to know your professors, getting to, like, see what you're really interested in. Like, because there's a lot of topics you can, like, do research about. It doesn't have to be just computer science. Like, you can be a computer science major and think about how you can serve, like, the marine sciences, or how you can serve geology, or how you can serve archaeology. And there's so many different fields. You can always combine them together and try to see which professors kind of, like, align with your thought process and kind of, like, start that way. Like, I would always say start small and then never take too long to, like, move to the next step. It's very important to start a conversation and then be prompt with it. Like, stay on top of those meetings, keep on, like, pursuing what you really want to do instead of, like, pushing it away till later.
I feel like it shows, too, if you're doing a research topic that you're not really interested in either. So, yeah, I totally agree. Do something that you really think inspires you, because that's all that really matters, right? Is hopefully in the end you're doing something that you like. So, one last question. Sorry, I know I said it was the last one before that, but who is your research mentor? Just to put it out there.
My research mentor is Dr. Joshua Gross.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being on our 4th episode of Otterly Curious. I really hope you enjoyed being on it today.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. The UREC Innovation Scholars Program at CSU Monterey Bay is funded by the CSUN HSI Equity Innovation Hub and Apple, supporting undergraduate researchers working on faculty-mentored research. Scholars develop a curated research identity through the development of a digital e-portfolio for the STEAM workforce or graduate school.